Be careful. Last time we were talking when we were making noise. Let's make sure that.
Listen, bro, the second you put live stream on it, it starts live streaming. Even though it says setting up meeting for live stream, it actually starts.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن والصعب إذا ما شئت سهلا. اللهم آمين. Alhamdulillah, we are now in the 21st day of Siyam. That means we're in the 22nd night of the month of Ramadan. We are already going so fast through the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from those who will be, inshallah, getting the barakah and rahmah of these nights, and will be making us from those who will be observing Laylatul Qadr. We don't know, it could have been last night Laylatul Qadr, because it's the first odd night of the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan. So let us roll up. Let's roll our sleeves and work hard, and let us be focused on our ibadah. Let's be consistent in our du'a, and let's be asking Allah for the things we need, and let's remember the dua of Laylatul Qadr. Allahumma innaka afuwun kareemun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna ya arhamar rahimin. We are today exploring the Surah Al-Ankabut, the spider, as well as Surah Ar-Rum and Surah Luqman, and a little bit of Surah As-Sajda. Those are all surahs that are in the 21st Sabara of the Quran. Surah Al-Ankabut is an amazing surah that talks about a concept that all Muslim mu'mins should be aware of, which is that Allah Azza wa Jal tests us in our life. ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين. This is a surah that starts by Alif Lam Mim. أحسب الناس يتركوا. Immediately Allah Azza wa Jal presents this concept. أحسب الناس يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. That people would be let alone, that they are believers, and without being tested and being examined. حسب الناس, and look here to الناس. الناس refer to the believers, non-believers, to Muslim, non-Muslims, and to those who work in hospitals or in jails, or or work with people in a society. Know that people across the board of different faith and cultural background go through tests and difficulties in their life. But what makes a difference is not necessarily the type of the test, but the way the test is perceived by the person who's go through the test. You could be sick, you could be jailed, you could be going through a hardship financially, you could be to go whatever challenges. But now the way you perceive that challenge and the way you see it, from which lens you look at this challenge, is what will make a difference in you. You could be rewarded, and you could be from those you could be from those who will be entering Jannah without any accountability. And it could be, unfortunately, suffering in this dunya, as well as, there is no reward or there is punishment in the akhirah. Did people think that they will be claiming to be believers without being tested to know whether they are true believers or not? Allah is saying, this is not new for you. It's not, before Ummah Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad, but this has happened to those who have came before you. And Allah shall know precisely who is honest and who is not honest. May Allah Azza wa Jal نسأل الله أن لا يبتلينا وإذا ابتلانا أن يثبتنا فإنه على كل شيء قدير. اللهم آمين. We should not be asking for ibtila'at, but we ask Allah Azza wa Jal, if we were to be going through ibtila'at, that He will give us the patience and sabr. Because once the Prophet ﷺ came to a person who was sick, and he asked him, how do you feel? He said, he gave him a gloom and doom, description, and said to him, you are for this. If you were to ask Allah Azza for rahmah, then Allah will be giving you the rahmah and the ability to cope with your challenge. حسب الذين يعملون السيئات أن يسبقون ساء ما يحكمون. And do let those who do bad, or they're wrongdoers in this dunya, those who have no business but to stand against the truth, to stand against the followers of the haqq, the callers of the haqq, do they think they will be having the upper hand? Do they think they will be superior? Do they think that they are going to have the above the haqq? No, that's not true. أم حسب الذين يعملون السيئات أن يسبقونا ساء ما يحكمون. What a false perception they have that they will have the upper hand and they will be extinguishing the nur of Allah Azza wa Jal. It's impossible. من كان يرجو لقاء الله, and Allah Azza wa Jal here puts the reference in which you should be looking through the difficulties in your life. من كان يرجو لقاء الله, whoever wishes to meet Allah Azza wa Jal, فإن أجل الله لآت. فإن أجل الله لآت وهو السميع العليم. Whoever wishes to meet Allah Azza wa Jal, whoever has been focused in his or her life about the fact that a day that they will be meeting Allah Azza wa Jal, بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ, as we will see it inshallah in the Surah Luqman, وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ, then eventually they will perceive these difficulties and challenges as something that is entertaining. And I'm not being sarcastic by saying that the difficulties that Allah Azza wa Jal give to the believers are not mihan, as we call them in Arabic. Mihan means tests, but rather minah, gifts from Allah Azza wa Jal, because the righteous would enjoy the companionship of Allah Azza wa Jal, because inna Allah ma'as sabirin, Allah Azza wa Jal is with the patient. So if Allah Azza wa Jal, give us the reference and the frame of reference and the lens we should be looking through when if we were to go through difficulties, so we're able to benefit from it and get this massive rewards and blessings and barakat from being tested for Allah and with Allah Azza wa Jal. وَمَنْ جَاهَدَ فَإِنَّهُ يُجَاهِدُ نَفْسِهِ. And Allah Azza wa Jal, saying that وَمَنْ جَاهَدَ فَإِنَّهُ يُجَاهِدُ نَفْسِهِ. SubhanAllah, when we were kids, our parents used to say, if you study for yourself. You don't study for me. Even though I would like to see you successful in your life, I would like to see you, excelling in your academic work. But eventually, what you're doing for yourself. And Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, whoever struggles in this life, it struggles for his own self and her own self, because eventually it benefits none except yourself, and it's not going to be getting Allah Azza wa Jal any benefits. Inna Allah la ghani al-alamin. Allah Azza wa Jal is ghani, and there's not a need for any any of your deeds or do or work. يعني لا ينال الله لحومها ولا دماؤه ولكن ينال التقوى منكم. Allah Azza wa Jal will look at the taqwa and what you are achieving and how you perceive the difficulties and challenges in your life. والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لنكفرن عنهم سيئاتهم ولنجزينهم أحسن الذي كانوا يعملون. And those who do believe, those who believe and do righteous and do good, then Allah Azza wa Jal will be forgiving their sins. أتبع السيئات الحسنة تمحوها. Believe, work hard, roll your sleeves, be a source of good, be muhsin, be a source of good for others around you. And Allah Azza wa Jal, as a result of that, will be forgiving your sins and will be rewarding you بأحسن ما كانوا يعمل. Allah Azza wa Jal will be evaluating for your deeds. And the best and most rewarding actions and deeds will be the scale for which all your deeds will be evaluated with, inshallah. And then with this introduction about how Allah Azza wa Jal, have put a principle or sunnah in this life, that it is a big test, and how that those who are patient and are persistent and looking for the rewards from Allah Azza wa Jal and seek refuge with Allah Azza wa Jal, then they will be they will pass the test. Here comes after that a beautiful advice that inserted between the ayat that talks about the sunnah of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza says, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حُسْنًا. We have ordained for the man to be kind to his parents. Now again, as if Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us that looking after the parents, pleasing the parents, and birrul walidain is a very challenging, task that has a very rewarding rewards from Allah Azza wa Jal. وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حُسْنًا وإن جاهداك على أن تشرك بي ما ليس لك به علم فلا تطيعهما إلي مرجعكم فأنبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. And if they were to push you and force you out of the faith, then do not obey them and listen to them, but rather فلا تطيعهما, do not listen to them. إلي مرجعكم فأنبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. And you will be returning to me, and I will be evaluating your intentions. We will inshallah explore this concept more in Surah Luqman, as Allah presented this advice again in between the advices that Luqman presented to his son, or it is one of the advices that Luqman have presented to his own son, how Allah Azza will be looking at our hearts and evaluate our intentions. And Allah Azza knows best whether our parents are off track and we are on track or not. But rather, regardless, we should be kind to our parents, and we should be giving them the best of our companionship, even if they were not to be Muslims, or even if they were not to be practicing Muslims, and they're trying to drift us away from the practicing of da'wah to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal and the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. And then after that, Allah Azza wa Jal presents an important concept that we need to be aware of. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ فَإِذَا أُوذِيَ بِاللَّهِ. There are those from the people who would say, we believe in Allah Azza, but on the time of tests, فَإِذَا أُوذِيَ بِاللَّهِ, when they're being tested for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, جَعَلَ فِتْنَةَ النَّاسِ كَعَذَابِ اللَّهِ. He made the test of the people, the test that people have exposed him to is similar to the عذاب الله, كعذاب الله. وَلَئِنْ جَاءَ نَصْرٌ مِّن رَبِّكَ. And if a victory is to be brought to you by Allah Azza wa Jal, لَيَقُولُنَّ إِنَّا كُنَّا مَعَكُمْ. لَيَقُولَنَّ إِنَّا كُنَّا مَعَكُمْ. We were with you. أَوَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا فِي صُدُورِ الْعَالَمِينَ. Allah Azza wa Jal, looks at what's in the heart. You cannot flip-flop. You cannot, be smart and play and hold the stick from the middle. You have to be, persistent. You have to be concise. You have to be clear. You have to take, a clear actions and firm decisions in your life. Walking between the drops of the rain is impossible. You have to be clear of what are you getting from your life, and what your objectives in life, and what you're aiming for in this life that Allah has given to you. And eventually Allah will know who is believer and who is munafiq. This is similar to the ayah from Surah Al-Hajj, by the way. And there are those who worship Allah only on one perspective. They want the good in the life. They don't want to be tested in this life or in this dunya. And then Allah Azza after that presents the stories of the prophets of Allah Azza, presenting the first story, Surah Nuh alayhi salam. And what's beautiful about the way Surah Nuh was presented in this chapter, or in this surah, is that Allah Azza said, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا فَلَبِثَ فِيهِمْ إِلَى قَوْمِهِ فَلَبِثَ فِيهِمْ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ إِلَّا 50 عاما. Allah Azza wants to saying to us, you will be going through tests. Do you think you are patient? Do you think your test is is taking long? You think that your difficulty or challenges is getting way out of control? No. Look into Nuh alayhi salam. He served in the da'wah to the deen of Allah for 950 years. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَى قَوْمِهِ فَلَبِثَ فِيهِمْ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ إِلَّا 50 عاما. The first 50 years were before his bi'tha, and then after that, when he became Nabi, because the prophets of Allah received their bi'tha, the message, by the age of 40, and then the rest of his life was for the deen of Allah Azza. 1,000 almost years did not bend him, did not make him give up, and Nuh alayhi salam was used all the techniques, all the styles of da'wah, and was very persistent, and was very patient, and never give up in his role and mission to the da'wah of the deen of Allah Azza. And then Allah Azza after that said, فأنجيناه وأصحاب السفينة وجعلناها آية للعالمين. Eventually, after a long time, after serving to the deen of Allah Azza, gave him the victory. Allah Azza, honored him. فأنجيناه وأصحاب السفينة. We saved him along with the people of the ship. وجعلناها آية للعالمين. And we made it ayah to the believers. And then after that, Allah Azza presents the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the one who, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ قَالَ إِنْ جَعَلْتُ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا قَالَ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي قَالَ لَا يَنَالُ عَهْدُ الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah Azza also reminds us about the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, وإبراهيم إذ قال لقومه اعبدوا الله واتقوه ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. Allah Azza present the story of Ibrahim who stood in front of his own people. إذ قال لقومه, he said to his own people, اعبدوا الله, worship Allah Azza, واتقوه, be mindful of him. ذلكم خير لكم, this is better for you, إن كنتم, if you were to know. And then فما كان جواب قومه إلا قالوا اقتلوه وحرقوه فأنجاه الله عز وجل. They, as a result of standing for the da'wah to the deen of Allah, as a result of standing for the haqq, then the response of his own people was none but قالوا اقتلوه وحرقوه, kill him and burn him alive. فأنجاه الله, Allah Azza saved him. من النار, from the fire. إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون. Indeed, in this, in the story of Ibrahim as-salam is a reflection, an ayah to those who believe. And then after that, Allah Azza presents the story of Lut alayhi salam and what happened between him and his own people. And then after that, and Allah Azza also save Lut alayhi salam, إلا عجوزا في الغابرين, except for his wife who was not a true believer. And then Allah Azza after that present the story of Shu'aib, وإلى مدين أخاهم شعيبا, and eventually فكذبوه فأخذتهم الرجفة, they disbelieved in him, and Allah Azza sent unto them the earthquake, the shake. فأصبحوا في ديارهم جاثمين, and they were all killed in their own towns. وعادا وثمود, and the قوم of Ad and the قوم of Thamud. وقد تبين لكم من مساكنهم, and you have realized from what left behind from their accommodations how powerful they were. وزين لهم الشيطان أعمالهم فصدهم عن السبيل وكانوا مستبصرين, and Shaitan decorated for them their mischief and their dalal, and they were mustabsirin. They were, they had the ability to clearly see the haqq, but they have chosen the wrong one, for unfortunately. والعياذ بالله. وقارون وفرعون وهامان ولقد جاءهم موسى البينات فاستكبروا في الأرض وما كانوا سابقين. And then Allah Azza wa Jal also presented, the story, reminds us about the story of Qarun, وفرعون وهامان, and and then وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُمْ مُوسَى الْبَيِّنَاتِ, and Musa brought to them the clear signs. فَاسْتَكْبَرُوا, they were arrogant في الأرض, وَمَا كَانُوا سَابِقِينَ, and they were not able to supersede. فَكُلًّا أَخَذْنَا بِذَنبِهِ, and then after that Allah Azza wa Jal presents the fate of all those 5 people, Ad and Thamud, and then Qarun وفرعون وهامان. فَكُلًّا أَخَذْنَا بِذَنبِهِ فمنهم من أرسلنا عليه حاصبا. Those are the people, and there are those who we have sent unto them the rock, the stone them with rocks. حاصبا, the people of Ad. ومنهم من أخذته الصيحة, and there are those who were taken by the shout, the people of Thamud. ومنهم من خسفنا بهم الأرض, and those we have destroyed the earth with them, the earth swallowed them, and this is Qarun. ومنهم من أغرقنا, and this is what happened to Fir'aun وهامان لعنة الله وجنودهما, and their own soldiers لعنة الله عليهما. وما كان الله ليظلمهم, and Allah Azza would not be unjust to them, ولكن كانوا أنفسهم يظلمون, they were unjust to themselves. And then after that Allah Azza present for us a beautiful example and a scientific fact. مثل الذين اتخذوا أولياء من دون الله, the example of those who have taken alliance beside Allah Azza wa Jal, the example of those who have been counting and depending on others but Allah Azza wa Jal, and those who are not the believers, those who do not have Allah Azza wa Jal in front of their eyes. Allah Azza wa Jal will be giving support and victory to those who are worth it. الذين إن مكناهم في الأرض أقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأمروا بالمعروف ونهوا عن المنكر ولله عاقبة الأمور. If you were to be from those, then Allah Azza wa Jal will give you the support. If not, then Allah Azza wa Jal will be luring to you in this dunya until the time comes and they will destroy you. مثل الذين اتخذوا أولياء من دون الله, those, the example of those who have taken support to them beside Allah Azza wa Jal. They have counted on their own technology. They have counted on their superiority in arm and weapons. Then Allah Azza wa Jal will lead them to their own, to what they have counted on, to the technology and to the weapons and to the techniques and all these things. وإن أوهن البيوت لبيت العنكبوت, and the weakest in مثل الذين اتخذوا من دون الله أولياء كمثل العنكبوت. The example of those who have taken أولياء beside Allah Azza wa Jal are the example of the Ankabut, the spider. وإن أوهن البيوت اتخذت بيتا, which have taken a house, referring to the web of the spider. Now, وإن أوهن البيوت لبيت العنكبوت لو كانوا يعلمون, and the weakest of the homes is the home or the web of the spider. Now, traditionally, we know that the web of the spider is very light, like it's from a kid could easily destroy the web of the spider, because it is so made from very weak materials. It's not strong enough, made from rocks or stones or built or curved in stone or digged underground. No, it is rather made from the silk that is so soft, or from threads of the lines that the spider that makes, and they're so soft that could easily be destroyed when people walk on it and without paying attention. Scientifically speaking, now it is proven, it's discovered that the female of the spider, after conceived from the male, will be killing the male, and this will make that the house or the family of this Ankabut is so weak, and this is how Allah Azza wa Jal presented this scientific fact in this example, to illustrate that no matter how strong in your perception you think that other entities beside Allah Azza could be, but in reality they are weak, and they're unable to sustain or provide anything for you. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, a beautiful fact, advice Allah is presenting in the surah, وَاتْلُ مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ, recite what has been revealed to you, Muhammad, from the book, وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ, and establish the salah, subhanallah. A combination of salah and recitation of the Quran. إِنَّ صَلَاتَنَا عَلَى الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ, as the salah prevents you from the fahsha and the munkar. وَلَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ, and the remembrance of Allah is more superior. وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا تَصْنَعُونَ, وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا يَصْنَعُونَ, Allah knows what they do in their life. And the following verse after that is وَلَا تُجَادِلُ أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْهُمْ. And Allah is saying to us, لَا تُجَادِلُ وَلَا تُجَادِلُ, and do not argue with the people of the book إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ, except with the good manners and with the best attitude. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا, except for those who are ظالم. وَقُولُوا آمَنَّا, and say to them, we believe. بِالَّذِي أُنزِلَ إِلَيْنَا وَأُنزِلَ إِلَيْكُمْ, we believe in what has been revealed to us as Ummah Muhammad and what has been revealed to you, the people of the book, whether the followers of Isa or Musa alayhi salam. وَإِلَهُنَا وَإِلَهُكُمْ وَاحِدٌ, and your Lord and our Lord and your Lord is one, which is Allah Azza wa Jal. وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ, and we are submitters and surrendering to the will of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now this ayah pave the road for the following surah, which is Surah Ar-Rum. أحسب الناس ألف لام ميم غلب الروم في أدنى الأرض وهم بعد غلبهم سيغلبون في بضع سنين لله الأمر من قبل ومن بعد. At the beginning of Surah Ar-Rum, which is the Roman, this is a surah or a chapter, have the title, this title to give an indication of how we are, as followers of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the people of Islam, are closer to the people of the book, those who have have received the scripts from before us. And in this, in the nutshell of this story is that at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the fire worshippers defeated the Roman Empire, who are Christians, and the Sahaba were sad for that, and the Mushrikeen were happy because they are, like them, don't believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. And the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba, because they knew that the Romans they're believing, they at least believe in Allah Azza wa Jal despite of the shirk they have, but they are closer to us than the Mushrikeen. And then eventually Allah Azza wa Jal wants to send a message to the people of the book that we are all together, the followers of Islam, are not innovative, are not coming with a new deen, with a new message, but rather to continue the same message that has been sent to them from Allah Azza wa Jal. And then after that, this is an amazing surah Ar-Rum, that Allah Azza wa Jal, in which it presents so many beautiful ayat. And Allah Azza wa Jal said, Subhanallah, حين تمسون وحين تصبحون. Glory be to Allah Azza wa Jal, حين تمسون, in the evening and in the morning. وله الحمد في السماوات والأرض. And praise be to him in the skies and the earth. وعشيا, and in the وحين تظهرون, and in the time of ظهر and عشي and ظهر, referring to the 5 daily salawat. يخرج الحي من الميت, and resurrects the dead out of the life, and يخرج الميت ويحيي الأرض. يخرج الحي من الميت, يخرج الميت من الحي, will take the life out of the dead and the dead out of the life, and resurrect the earth after its death. وكذلك تخرجون, and this is how you will be resurrected once again from your graves. ومن آياته, and then Allah Azza wa Jal after that presents 6 ayat to us in this beautiful surah. ومن آياته, I'll just present them quickly for the sake of the time. ومن آياته, from his signs, أن خلقكم من تراب, that he created you from dust. ثم إذا أنتم بشر تنتشرون, and then you become people scattered on this earth. ومن آياته, and from his signs, أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك الآيات لقوم يتفكرون. From the signs of reflection that he have created to you from yourselves spouses you dwell with, and created between you love and affection, مودة and رحمة. إن في ذلك, indeed in this are signs of reflection to those who intellectually reflect. لقوم يتفكرون, intellectually reflect. ومن آياته أن خلق السماوات والأرض, and again, from his signs that he created the skies and the earth. واختلاف ألسنتكم وألوانكم, and to the difference of your languages, and the skin of your color, the color of your skins. إن في ذلك لآيات للعالمين, indeed this there's a sign of reflection to all the creations. to all mankind. ومن آياته, and from his signs of restriction, منامكم بالليل والنهار, your sleep at the day and the night, because there are those who sleep at night and work in the day, and there are those who also sleep in the day and work at night for the necessities of the life. ومن آياته منامكم بالليل والنهار وابتغاءكم من فضله, and you are to seek the provision of Allah Azza wa Jal. إن في ذلك الآيات لقوم يسمعون. Indeed, there is a sign of reflection to those who hear and reflect upon what they hear. ومن آياته يريكم البرق خوفا وطمعا. From his signs of reflection, he show you the thunder, from the lightning, from خوفا وطمعا, out of fear and out of hope that the lightning will be bringing the rain, and which will bring the vegetations. إن في ذلك الآيات لقوم يعقلون. وينزل من السماء ماء في حبال الأرض بعودة, and then will be, with the lightning that comes, it is followed normally by the rain that brings out the vegetation. إن في ذلك الآيات لقوم يعقلون. Indeed, there's a sign of reflection to those who are intellectual. يعقلون. ومن آياته أن تقوم السماء والأرض بأمره. And from his ayat, that the earth and the sky will be standing for the commands of Allah Azza wa Jal. ثم إذا دعاكم دعوة من الأرض إذا أنتم تخرجون. And then when you will be calling upon you will be come out from your graves in the day of resurrection. Ya Allah, subhanallah, very powerful ayat that surah reminds us about the ayat of Allah Azza wa Jal. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, after that, throughout the surah, I'm just going through quickly through the highlights. أولم يروا أن الله يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء ويقدر إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون. Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who provides the rizq, and يقدر ويقدر, and tight on the rizq on others. إن في ذلك إن في ذلك الآيات لقوم يؤمنون. Indeed, there are signs of reflection to those who believe. And then after that, Allah says, فَآتِ ذَا الْقُرْبَ حَقَّهُ. Therefore, as Allah is the one who provides for you, as the one who expands for you your rizq, or tighten for you your rizq, know that the rizq is from Allah. Therefore, as a result of that, فَآتِ ذَا الْقُرْبَ حَقَّهُ. Give the right of the kinship of the blood tie relatives. وَالْمِسْكِينَ, and the miskin. وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ, and the travelers. ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَرِيدُونَ وَجْهَ اللَّهِ. This is indeed better. خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ, to those who are looking or seeking to please Allah. يَرِيدُونَ وَجْهَ اللَّهِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Allahu Akbar. And those are indeed the successful, the muflihun. Therefore, as we're in the month of Ramadan, before the month of Ramadan finishes, before this a huge, massive prize from Allah that we are living in is finished, reach out to your relatives, reach out for those who are miskin, reach out for those who are in need, and give in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. So to seek the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal, indeed to be from those who are muflihun. May Allah make us from them. Allahumma ameen. Ya ayyuhan nas afshu salam وأطعموا الطعام وصلوا بالليل والناس نيام تدخلوا الجنة بسلام. Oh people, greet those whom you know and you don't know, and pray at night when people are sleeping, and feed the people, and feed the people and pray at night when people are sleeping. You enter Jannah in peace. May Allah make us from them. Allahumma ameen. Keep in mind, there are less fortunate people around us in the globe from the Muslim Ummah who are really miskin, who are less fortunate. They might not have the same privileges we have to, when we break our fast and when we have our suhoor. Let us reach out for them and remember that the rewards of the one who breaks the fast of a person will get the same reward as the fasting person without decreasing any of his or her reward. And then, quickly, inshallah, we scan through the Surah Luqman. Allah Azza wa Jal presents this surah. Luqman is a righteous man, whether he's a prophet or not prophet, that's a dispute among the scholars, but he's a righteous man who have presented, advices to his own son. And when the mushrikeen, asked the Prophet, who is Luqman and what advices he gave to his own son, and then the Prophet presented this in the Quran. And Allah Azza, in this Quran, Allah just wanted to highlight quickly on the introduction of this surah, Alif Lam Mim, Tilka Ayat al-Kitab al-Hakim. Indeed, these are the ayat of Allah Azza, the book, are indeed the ayat al-Kitab al-Hakim, the ayat of the Hakim book. And again, we remember last time when we said there's always description to those who are muhsin, Allah Azza, or to muttaqi. Here Allah Azza said, Hudan wa rahmat al-muhsin. Indeed, these ayat of the Hakim book are hudan, are guidance, as well as rahmah. So this is what we are in most desperate need for. We need the guidance from Allah Azza, and we need the rahmah. Allah Azza is saying these ayat of the book are hudan, guidance, and rahmah, as well as to the muhsinin. طيب, who are those muhsinin, ya Allah? Let's find out. الذين يقيمون الصلاة. First, they establish the salah. And second, يؤتون الزكاة. وهم بالآخرة هم يوقنون. Remember what we said? وهم بالآخرة هم يوقنون. They precisely believe in the hereafter. أولئك على هدى من ربهم. Those who are, possess the or exercise these four things in their life, three things in their life. أولئك على هدى من ربهم. They are indeed on the guidance from Allah Azza wa Jalla. وأولئك هم مفلحون. And indeed they are مفلحون. Successful, as we said. مفلحون. When those who spend from what Allah Azza has provided to them, the أولئك هم المفلحون. And then after that, Allah Azza presented the advices that Luqman had given to his own son. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحُكْمَ أَنِ اشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ وَمَا يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. And Allah Azza said, whoever thank to Allah Azza, yashkur lillah, and shukr is different than hamad. Hamad is in the heart, shukr is in the action and in the hand. فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ نَفْسِهِ. When you do shukr, you should do it for your own self. Allah Azza is not needed for your actions, for your money. وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. And whoever rejects Allah Azza is not in need for you. وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانُ لِابْنِهِ وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ. And when Luqman said to his own son, when he was advising him, يا بني لا تشرك بالله. The first advice and the most important advice, لا تشرك بالله. Shirk is very destructive. إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. And then again, immediately after that, وصينا الإنسان بوالديه وقضى ربك, as in Surah Isra, ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا. So the most important thing is tawheed, and the second most important thing is the kindness and بر الوالدين. وإن جاهداك على أن تشرك بي ما ليس لك به علم فلا تطيعهما. And if they were to force you out of the face, do not listen to them, but وصاحبهما في الدنيا معروف. ثم لا يرجعكم فنبئكم ما كنتم تعملون. And when you go back to Allah, Allah would know what's in your heart. And this is an advice to my brothers and sisters, the young ones especially. Most of the time our teens think that they know and their parents don't know. We are, practicing on we're in the right path, and our parents are off the right path. Allah will inform you in the hereafter and knows what's inside your heart. So try to strike a balance between being a practicing person, being that to the of Allah, and being kind and generous to your parents. Do not be fooled by the temptations of shaitan and think that your parents are off track, unless they clearly say that astaghfirullah azim, they saw the kufr. This is a different story. And then after that, Allah Azza says, يا بني إنها تكن مثقال حبة من خردل فتكن في صخرة أو في السماوات أو في الأرض يأتي بها الله إن الله لطيف خبير. Allah Azza presents an important fact that Allah Azza is watching, monitoring, الرقابة, and then also the sincerity and the ikhlas. And he says to him, يا بني إنها تكن مثقال حبة. If it is where to be, the actions you are doing as small as the seed of a mustard, and if in a rock, and somewhere in the skies on the earth, Allah Azza is able to find it and allocate it. Inna Allah latifun khabir. Latif and khabir. This is two different beautiful, attributes to Allah Azza that takes time to describe. Ya bunayya aqim as-salah. My son, establish the salah. Wa'mur bil ma'ruf, and call for the good. Wanha al-munkar, and forbid the evil. Wasbir ala ma asabaka, and be patient and what falls on you, because when you try to be a da'i to the deen of Allah Azza, establishing the salah and amr bil ma'ruf wa tanha al-munkar, then you will be faced with challenges. Wasbir ala ma asabaka. Inna dhalika min azm al-umur. Indeed, this is the best, from the greatest achievement in the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. ولا تصعر خدك للناس, and do not humiliate yourself to others. ولا تمشي في الأرض حرا, and do not on the other hand be arrogant and walk with proud and pride among people. إن الله لا يحب من كان مختالا فخورا. Allah Azza does not like those who are proud and arrogant. واقصد في مشيك واغضض من صوتك, and walk humbly on the earth. وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. إن واغضض من صوتك, and speak softly, not loudly and arrogantly. إن أنكر أصواتي لصوت الحمير. And then this ayah is concluded with a beautiful verse that normally is quoted in Salat al-Jum'ah. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم. Oh mankind, be conscious of your Lord. واخشوا يوما, and be mindful of a day and be fearful of a day. لا يجزي والد عن ولده. No parent will be in good or in help for a child. ولا مولود, and no child will be in good for his parents. هو جاز عن والده شيئا. إن وعد الله حق. The promise of Allah Azza wa Jal is truth. فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا. Let not this dunya deceive you. ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور, and do not allow the gharur, the shaitan, to deceive you in this dunya. إن الله عنده علم الساعة. As Allah Azza wa Jal has the knowledge of the hour. وينزل الغيث, and He's the one who sends down the rain. ويعلم ما في الأرحام, and knows what's in the womb. And وما تدري نفس ماذا تكسب غدا, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows what every person will be achieving tomorrow, وما تدري نفس بأي أرض تموت, and no one would know when or where, on which land their final, their death will take place. In بأي أرض تموت, إن الله عليم خبير, as Allah Azza wa Jal is Alim Khabir, knows and aware. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from those who understand this. I think we will save inshallah Surah Al-Sajdah for tomorrow. We will catch up on it, before we proceed with the Juz'u 22 for tomorrow's reflection inshallah. اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين. اللهم يا رب السماوات والارض ورب العرش العظيم يا رحمن يا رحيم يا ملك يا قدوس يا سلام يا مؤمن يا مهيمن يا عزيز يا جبار يا متكبر يا مالك الملك يا من تؤتي الملك من تشاء وتنزع الملك ممن تشاء يا من تعز من تشاء وتذل من تشاء يا من بيدك الخير وانت على كل شيء قدير. اللهم يا رحمن اللهم يا رحيم اللهم هذا رمضان يرتحل فنسألك من كرمك وجودك ومنك وفضلك علينا يا أرحم الراحمين to make us from those who are able to benefit from whatever left from Ramadan. Ya Allah, make us from those who will be observing Laylatul Qadr in a way that will make you happy with us. Ya Rabbi, innaka afuwun kareemun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna ya arhamar rahimin. Ya Allah, make us from the winners of this month. Make us from the winners of Laylatul Qadr. Ya Allah, do not deprive us, Ya Rabbi. Do not make us from the mahrumin. Do not make us from the akhsareen. Do not make us from the losers of this month, nor those who will be deprived of Laylatul Qadr, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, we ask you to have rahmah on those who have passed away. Ya Allah, we ask you to give us husnul khitam, Ya Rabbil Alameen, on the best location and in the best days and in the best times, in the best shape and way that will make you happy and pleased with us, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, have rahmah on us upon death. Ya Allah, have rahmah on us after death. Ya Allah, have rahmah on us on the day of resurrection. Make us from those who will be shaded by your shade, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, exempt us from the hellfire. Ya Allah, admit us to Al-Firdaus Al-A'la min Al-Jannati, Ya Rabbil Alameen, without a prior hisab or adab, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. فإنك أنت الرحمن وأنت الرحيم وأنت الكريم وأنت رب السماوات والأرض ورب العرش العظيم. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Again, a reminder to reach out to your bucket and spend in the cause of Allah Azza before it's too late. Wallahi, this is counted hours before the end. These are counted hours before the end of Ramadan, where the rewards are multiplied, where the rahamat are available, where the Jannah is looking forward for you. Give from what Allah Azza had given to you, and do not forget to give out your zakat al-fitr, because it is important to give it away on all your family members, including the infants. And also, give your zakat al-money. Zakat al-money and zakat al-fitr are different than sadaqat and the support to the masajid. Those are two different categories. So if you want to support the masjid, specifically send a message to the masjid, say this is for imarat al-masajid. And this is for zakat. Zakat recipients are categories that I will describe, known to us and described in the Quran. May Allah Azza wa Jalla accept from us. Allahumma ameen. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.